Hello, my name is Abigail Harmon, and I would like to talk today about rappelling and all that the sport entails. Rappelling is when you rig yourself to a rope and go down the side of a face, such as a building or a cliff or into a pit or cave. Rappelling can be very dangerous, but when done correctly and safely, it can be very fun. First, you must prepare, and you must have all the equipment that you need, such as rope, a harness, a rack, which is your rappelling device, and a helmet and gloves. And if you are going underground into a pit or cave, you'll also need a headlamp and batteries, of course. The next part is rigging your rope. So this is the most important part to be done correctly, is rigging your rope. According to Richard Swall, a well-known British caver, there are 5 essential steps to rigging your rope correctly. First, the rig should provide easy and safe access to the top of the drop. Second, the rigging should be strong as the rope, meaning if your knot has many bends and nooks in it, then it makes the rope less efficient, meaning it can't hold as much weight as it's supposed to. 3. The rigging should allow the rope to hang free and to avoid any abrasive edges. 4. The rigging should avoid hazards such as waterfalls, loose rocks, or abrasive edges. 5. After rigging, the rope should touch the bottom of the pit or cliff face. According to the book On Rope, when compared to the reports published in American Cave Accidents, 100% of the accidents was an overlook of one of these 5 rules. After you rig up, inspect the rig. It's time to get on rope. As soon as you touch the rope, you're supposed to yell, "On rope," really loud so that everyone can hear you and everybody knows that you are getting ready to start your descent. You attach the rope to the rack. The rack is a metal piece with a series of bars that you thread the rope through, and it causes resistance on the rope so you can control your descent. Once attached to the rope, you load your rack, which means that you put all of your weight on the rack to make sure that it's going to hold to the rope. If you put the rope in backwards through your rack, once you load it, all the bars will pop off and the rope will just be there and you won't be attached to anything. So you need to check this before you get to the lip. Once you've checked out everything, it's time to negotiate the lip. And this is the scariest part, is because this is when you go from full support on your legs to full support on the rope. So you're at the edge and you start to lean back and you lean out over the edge and you start to kind of negotiate the lip, which is starting to go over. And once you negotiate the lip, it's time to start the descent. So now you are completely supported by your rack and the rope, and you start to, drop down. So you want this drop to be controlled, and how you control it is you tighten those bars up, creating more resistance on the rope, or you can pull down on the rope, creating more resistance. Now sometimes for beginners who don't trust their equipment, they'll want a bottom belay. And this is somebody that stands at the bottom and holds onto the rope. And if for some reason the descender gets out of control, they can pull down on this rope, creating tension, and it slows or even stops the out of control descender. Now, this is a good way to have an extra bit of safety for the person descending, but for the person on bottom belay, it can be more dangerous because you are now in the rock fall zone, meaning that if a rock were to come loose from the edge, that you are right in the path of it. So a lot of times you don't want to have a bottom belay unless it's just absolutely necessary for the comfort of the person going down. But most of the time, once somebody gets cuts their teeth in, you want them to be able to control it all by themselves. Now, once you've reached the ground, you're not over yet, but it's almost, you reach the ground and you unrig from the rope. And you pop all those bars off and get the rope out, and then you yell, "Off rope!" So everyone knows that you're off, and the person getting ready to get on the rope knows that they can start rigging up at the top. Now you're close to being finished, but you make sure to walk out of the way of the rock fall zone so no rock hits you. Now, this is pretty much all there is to rappelling. It's a lot of fun and can be a wonderful sport. You can go many places that a lot of other people can't go because it's nerve-wracking to start doing it, but it's wonderful confidence builder. And the first time I did it, I was so scared, but now I'm comfortable with it. I can trust my equipment, and it gets better each time I do it. But care still has to be taken. And according to Bill Cuddington, a well-known caver, he says, you must be just as careful the first time you rappel, or you must be just as careful the 10,000th time you rappel as you were the first time. And this is a very true statement because things can go wrong, but when taking precautions and being careful, it can be a wonderful ride. Thank you.